Welcome to the Business Profile. I'm Jeff Layton, and with me is Tim Robley. We are in the parking lot of Stenerson Lumber right off of Highway 59 in Detroit Lakes, and behind me is a storm shelter. And Tim, you're with DuPont, and explain a little bit about what we're looking at in the background here.
Well, what we have here, Jeff, is a DuPont storm room, and it's a room designed to withstand high impact through storms that we have in our area. Tornadoes it works for a great shelter for tornado shelter. The room is basically devised of a couple different components. It's a steel track that's bolted down to a concrete slab, and then there's panels inserted in that steel track. And what those panels do is they also include a product called Kevlar.
Okay.
This is the panel that's inserted into the track.
Kevlar, I hear about that with like vests, like for bulletproof vests.
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is the same material that is used in military and police law enforcement bulletproof vests. It's Kevlar. Kevlar itself is a unique product. It's per pound, 20 times stronger than steel. And so what the storm room entails is a SIPS panel, a structurally insulated panel, which is devised of plywood, foam core, a layer of Kevlar, and plywood. Okay. And what this panel is designed to do is it's inserted into a steel track that's mounted to the concrete foundation, and this panel will absorb high impact of flying debris that is common with storms. In a 200-mile-an-hour wind storm, tornado, we can get impact speeds of over 100 miles an hour of 2x4s and whatnot. What would happen with that product is it hits here, the Kevlar absorbs that load and will not penetrate the wall assembly.
Okay.
Thus making the storm room storm-proof in that application, because most of the time what happens is that flying debris is what really injures people, and this room would protect them from that flying debris.
So the difference between this and, like, let's say I make a big concrete shelter, what's the difference? How's it going to be better this way?
Well, testing has shown, and we've done testing at Texas Tech, and with flying debris. They built a mortared wall with just regular brick and 2x4, and the construction, and the board flies right through that. Same thing happens with masonry block. In order to make a shelter that could meet FEMA standards, you would have to use a poured wall system with a lot of metal, rebar and iron in there to withstand that amount of impact.
Okay.
What happens when we do that is we lose radio frequency from the inside as well. So once you're in this room during a storm, you can still have your weather radar radio going, as well as cell phone use and everything else.
Okay. Well, and that's one key, that you don't want to be cut off from the world when you're inside this. And also you want to be able to probably call loved ones and tell them, hey, we're okay, we're in the storm shelter.
Exactly, yep.
Okay. Now what about, let's say you've got this in the basement of your house, the house caves in on you.
Okay. Very good question. This room can withstand a 70,000 pound crush load. That's basically a loaded semi. Could actually sit right on top of this room, and it will not crush or hurt the occupants on the inside.
Okay.
So for falling debris, large oak trees, large trees coming down on a house, this would protect the occupants inside of that as well.
Okay, and explain a little bit on that door.
Okay, this door is unique. This door frame is all steel metal. It weighs over 300 pounds just in itself. And this door has 6 throw bolts in it. So when that door is closed, exactly,
it goes in, yeah.
Yep. And so these bolts latch into the door frame, so there's no way that this door can be forced open by any debris, and it's also reinforced. Okay. You'll also notice that the door swings into the room. And the reason for that is by design, so that if, for instance, you have a debris field on the outside, a lot of times if people have some type of a room, they want to try to, the door can't get through the debris field.
Sure, if a tree fell halfway down on this, or something in your house fell down, you'd be able to open the door in and climb over the debris, versus you'd never push the door open.
Correct. Okay. Yep. So that's by design. This room can also be utilized anywhere in the home. This can be, as you can see here, we have it designed out as a walk-in closet. There's plenty of ventilation in this room. It can be wired for electricity. You can also make it a laundry room. You can put your dryer vent through it as well, so it can be a functional room inside your house, not just a storm shelter.
Not just dead space. Okay.
Right.
What we'll do is we'll take a quick break, and we're going to talk to Randy and talk about how you install these.
Right. Sounds good.
We'll be back right after this.
If you're building and remodeling, and with interest rates so low, now is the perfect time to browse the new showroom at Stenerson Lumber in Detroit Lakes. See firsthand the quality product choices for your projects before you buy. It's the real thing, not a picture in a catalog, so you get exactly what you want. Doors, windows, siding, roofing, garages, or a new dream home. Stenersons is the place to start. We offer planning, free estimates, and free delivery. Stenersons, just north of Detroit Lakes on Highway 59, your hometown lumber yard for 120 years.
These are all good reasons why people book their trips with Travel of Detroit Lakes, the travel experts. You can see us, you can talk to us, you can trust us. Let Travel of Detroit Lakes do the work for you, and you do the fun.
Welcome back to the Business Profile. Again, I'm Jeff Layton, and we're at Stenerson Lumber, Highway 59 South in Detroit Lakes. Actually, 59 North, a little bit north of Highway 10 in Detroit Lakes. With me, Randy Tooney, and people might remember Randy. We talked last time about siding and all the exterior of the house, and that's kind of your Exteriors Unlimited specialty. Yep. But you are also certified in something else, and that is the installation of these DuPont storm shelters. So tell us a little bit about why do they require a certified installer to start with?
Being that DuPont made it, and it's an engineered product, they don't just let anyone install them. So we had to take classes, and we had to have a certified installer come and watch our first 3 rooms get installed, so we were doing it right.
Okay.
And then when we did that, they were able to give us a certificate, so now we can go and install them. And they got to be done right because it's protecting someone's lives.
Sure. Yeah, you probably only have one chance really
you
to
only
get
have
it right.
one chance.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about what are some of the aspects of the installation that makes it safe, and really what you learned in that certification.
What it is on how it's bolted to the concrete. It's not just anchor bolts into concrete. We use a 2-part epoxy, and that's what withholds the uplift of the anchor bolts on how it's bolted to the concrete. And the precision that it's got to be on how they're drilled, how the epoxy works, how they're cleaned, and just how the structure all goes together. And then to put a door in like that, it's got to be done right. So yeah.
Well, you know, it's interesting because Tim had mentioned, like, for example, somebody kind of created their own storm shelter in their house.
Yeah.
And then they had the door swing out.
Yeah.
And that was just one example of where they really thought about, hey, what happens if something falls in front of that door, and now you're trapped in a very small room. You could get claustrophobic,
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking, really quick in a room like that after a storm, and you might not be able to wait maybe an hour or two for somebody to come and get you, just out of, claustrophobia type thing. So very interesting that they've really thought of a lot of things.
Yeah, everything's thought of. How there's vents through the top that have metal shrouds so nothing can come through them. Doors cut down a little bit so you got the air coming through. It's very well thought of. Very well thought of.
All right. So if people wanted more information about this, are you the person to contact, or just anybody here at Stenerson?
Anyone at Stenerson's, it's got to be installed by a certified installer. That's the biggest thing. Anyone can, Stenerson's will sell it, but then we'd be the ones installing it. So, and we have to do we look at your project before we give you a price on it. So.
Okay, so you'd come out and do an estimate for them? Okay.
Free.
Again, also, with our weather, you just never know what's going to happen. Yeah. And this is, rest easy when you have one of these in your house.
Yep. Especially with the options of it's got to be bolted to the concrete.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, thanks, Randy, for having us.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if everybody wants a little bit more information on this, contact Stenerson, right again, north on 59, right here in Detroit Lakes. They'll tell you all about the storm shelter. Until next Business Profile, I'm Jeff Layton.